everyone, we're here for another episode of our podcast, and today I would like to tell everyone, and I've been asked many times, what my must-have tools, small appliances, and other things I have to have in my kitchen. I can survive without a lot of things, but a digital scale which measures in grams, a pasta maker, and by pasta maker I mean the one that you clamp to the side of a countertop or a table and you hand roll your pasta, an immersion blender, and an electric beater. So the digital scale, because to weigh ingredients is so much more precise rather than measuring them in volume. There are things that actually are much better if measured in volume, like all liquids for that matter. But in a general recipe where you have to weigh flour or sugar, it's better because if you measure a cup of flour and then you weigh it and you do it 3 times, you'll get 3 different weights. Then a lot depends if it's a pre-sifted flour or not. If it's something like semola, even though being milled twice brings it to almost the same fineness of the 00, a cup of 00 and a cup of semola are a different weight. So that's why I keep telling everybody, get a digital scale. They're super cheap now, and get one that measures in grams, because that is the most precise weight that you can get. Then, immersion blender. I obviously have the full-blown blender, the big food processor, but especially if it's a small family or if you're alone, immersion blender, now you can have kits like the one I have, which has the immersion blender, the measuring container, I mean it's like a tall glass, the smaller food processor that actually, it's a chopper that works with the same handle, the same engine of the food processor and of the immersion blender. And then there also is an attachment with a beater. Now that one I never tried on something as dense as making tiramisu, for example, because I am afraid that since there's only one whisk instead of 2, and they are one of those little thin wired ones, it will not handle the mascarpone, the density of the mascarpone well. So, but for sure you can use it in the immersion blender if you have to whip up something, if you have to whip up cream, if you have to make mayonnaise. It's phenomenal because it works on small quantities, something that the regular electric beater doesn't. Then there is the electric beater, because I make tiramisu a lot of times. I could not function without one, even though in all reality it's the only thing I use it for, but I still need to have one in my house. You don't have to spend a ton of money. This one didn't cost much. I'm not naming brands, even because you may find a brand or may not find a brand, so it's pointless to name one. But the electric beater really doesn't really need to cost a lot. I don't own one of those big countertop stand mixers, beater, because it's a sensible investment and I would not use it often enough to kind of amortize the cost of the item. I don't like to make doughs in that type of item because I find it therapeutic to actually hand make pasta dough, bread dough, pizza, cakes, doesn't matter. I have to do it manually. And then there is the pasta rolling machine, the one that attaches to the side of your countertop or of a table, and you hand roll that. Granted, if you have the above mentioned countertop standalone machine and you can get the attachments, go for it. Again, I love to do it by hand because it's distressing. One thing, when we moved here, I couldn't bring my grandma's one, so that one remained in Italy, but I bought one here. I didn't pay attention, it was at the very beginning, and I didn't realize it was made in China, even though the lightweight should have told me that it wasn't the one I was used to. And the problem was, we're talking 15 years ago probably, if not something more, but there the problem was that it started not working after 3 or 4 times. So the rollers that you use to thin out the pasta dough, at the beginning, number 1, which is the widest, didn't work anymore. So you start at number 2, then number 2 doesn't work anymore, then you start at number 3. So, I mean, my grandma's never ever skipped a beat. And then a friend was giving away hers because she had more than one, and I got it. That one was one of the made in Italy. 10 years later, not a shred of a problem. So that is one of those things that you would like to invest a little bit more money, but make sure you get a really good one. Technically, there are only 2 Italian brands here. I'm not going to mention them, but either one will work. I will see you again in 2 weeks, and we will expand on these notions if you want to ask more questions. If you do, just write me a comment and I will reply with no problem. See ya!